What hope or story do you believe you're telling?
So there is another artist that I really like, and he's a Swedish artist, and I think he died in 23 or 1925, a guy named Bruno Lillefors. And a lot of his paintings I've looked at over the years, and it's kind of like there's always a struggle. It's like a bird nailing a squirrel, or some sea eagles nailing a rabbit on the shoreline. There's always, or a hunter after its prey, or different things. And I can identify with those things, a lot of it with wildlife and my own experiences. And there's always kind of a, did he get away? There's always an escape kind of a thing. And there's always a little hope in some. So a lot of probably that first painting, I do like telling stories in my paintings, and a lot of them are, I've had bears come into camp, and sometimes it's because I've had bears come into my camp, and as Cub Scouts, or not Cub Scouts, but Boy Scouts, and been lucky nothing bad has happened, but you see the mess that they make, but there's always some kind of a struggle between the kind of life on the edge, and it goes back to it can go back to adventure and the adventurous spirit, but there always is a little bit of hope. Like there's nobody. I don't do dead people or different things. Although every once in a while I did a painting of a growling painting once, and it was a very angry painting, and there's some ravens in it. And the camp is destroyed, but the birds are kind of aggravating the grizzly bear, and I actually got the painting sent back to me from the gallery saying, "This is too. They said that you should have sent us a picture first, and we wouldn't have taken it. It's too angry." And I think I did that painting almost in a protest, because I was annoyed with how galleries work sometimes, and I even had a painting sent back to me. It was of a little weasel, and the gallery called and they said, "Oh, there was a guy in here that said that's not what they look like." I go, "Trust me, I know what they look like." Well, he says they no. I said, "Are you going to listen to me, the guy that's spent the time to paint this, do the research?" And about a week later, I got the painting back in the mail. I'm like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me!" And so there, like I said, there are funny low parts, and part of it. And my dad and I have joked about needing to have a sense of humor in this kind of stuff, because a lot of times it's just silly, and it's so easy to be annoyed, and we all get annoyed sometimes. And then sometimes like I say, the older I get, I try to do step back to see the humor in even things where people can have an impact, and to kind of mess your life up a little bit, or at least the way the week's going, or financially how your month might go, or your quarter might go. And sometimes it takes you really have to step back and go, okay.
Yeah. Well, I love that your dad says you got to have a sense of humor to be able to cope with that, because you're going to go through difficulty. You're going to have paintings sent back from a gallery. You're not going to get into the show, but your wife, how wonderful her insight to say, well, what other door could this open? And oh my goodness, what it did. I love that story.